Welcome to my 2020 work office. Today we're going to give y'all a walkthrough of my brand new 2020 SKEETER FXR20. There's a bunch of 20s in there. But first off, we're going to start with the main thing to get you to and from the lake, and that's the trailer. And the important thing about SKEETER, or cool thing, is they actually build their own trailers. So they're built at SKEETER. They're not importing trailers from a different company. So SKEETER's able to do a bunch of different things that other trailers don't have on other kind of boats. Like this is a SKEETER deal. The step up here to just, I mean, it's easy to walk up to get in your boat. Undoing it, taking it out of the water, putting it in the water, stuff like that. The coolest thing I like about the whole trailer is these side steps halfway on the deck of the boat, to where if you need something, you know, it's real easy to get in and out of instead of having to go back to the fenders. And we have those on the port side and the starboard side, so that's a real unique deal that SKEETER has going there. Fiberglass fenders, custom rims, all that cool stuff. Really cool looking logos. But again, you got SKEETER making their own trailers at the SKEETER manufacturer. That's a really cool deal. So I'm going to start at the front of the boat and work my way back, giving y'all a tour of everything I've got on here. And first off, you're going to see the Minn Kota Ultrex that I've got here. That's what I'm going to run this year. That's what I ran last year. You know, the thing about this trolling motor is it's proven. It's been around a while. I've never had any issues with it, and it just gives me a lot of confidence out on the water, knowing that I've got equipment that I can trust. Going down to my graphs, I'm going to be running two 12s up front, one Humminbird Helix 12 and a Humminbird Solix 12. And when I get back to the console, I'll kind of give y'all a little insight as to why I'm running a Helix and a Solix instead of four of the same graphs. With these, or holding on to these Humminbirds, I've got a Bass Boat Technologies dual mount bracket up here. You know, you spend a lot of money on these units, and you don't really want them getting beat around in rough water and stuff. I mean, they're sturdy, they're not going anywhere, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Moving on back, we've got what I believe is the best rod straps in the industry. I mean, these aren't breaking. You know, you unhook them here, they go back. They're not that, you don't have to worry about losing your rods once that's hooked. I personally, when I travel, my trolling motor cable is under that, so it's not banging around and stuff. Pretty neat. They've got the SKEETER logo on the rod straps. Moving on to the rod boxes, one thing I noticed is how wide the opening is of the actual rod box. You know, we get a bunch of rods in there traveling around the country and going to lakes that we don't really know a whole lot about to begin with. So I try and pack as many rods in there as I can during practice, and having this wider rod box helps me not get all my rods tangled up, may end up breaking one or whatever. But another thing that I really like that SKEETER's done is they have what they call the mega rod tube, and it's just one big rod tube instead of your individual ones that end up breaking all your eyes off. That I take them out personally in every other boat that I've ever owned, but it's really cool that SKEETER's come up with this design to keep you from having to go through all that trouble to begin with. Moving over to the starboard side rod box, again, you've got that width, you've got the mega rod tube in there for any extra rods. But this is probably where I'm going to store most of my tackle, plastics, and stuff that I put in bags. All my boxes and stuff are going to be in this center console that I'll get to in a second. But all of the stuff that I keep in Ziplocs, any kind of bags, is probably going to be kept on this side. Moving from there, we have the day box, which is probably my favorite that I've never really had on a boat. It's what, like if you have a little game plan going into your tournament day, or you think you know what you're going to be using most of the day, you can store that here instead of having to dig into all these boxes and get all discombobulated and all the other stuff, where you can just keep whatever you think you're going to be using for that day in this day box. This tray comes out, then you have access to the actual rest of the rod box, so that's pretty neat. Moving right along to the center box, which is where the majority of my tackle is going to be. One really cool thing that I like SKEETER's done, and before I get into that, the thing I like about what this new SKEETER FXR, the people at SKEETER have taken so much thought into the little things, and they've taken the FX series and just revamped it a little bit and made it just that much better, fixed the little things that I think that anglers were telling them they kind of wanted to see, and what they've done with it's just incredible. Just like these rod crates here, or these, not rod crates, the box crates. I mean, you can take these out. I mean, and then you've got all the room you want. You can keep them in there. I mean, you can't beat that. That's just a really innovative design, and I really like that. As you can see up there, there's some more mega rod tubes for some more extra rods. You can put as many rods as you want in this boat. You're not going to run out of room. For the tournament guys, they have a really unique net storage system up here that I really like, instead of it being in the floor and around your feet all the time or throwing it on your back seat. That's a really cool way to store it while you're traveling. Right in front of the passenger seat, there's a dry storage box. You know, keep your buffs, anything, gloves, whatever you need. That's a dry storage box there. Everybody wants to be conservationists. We don't need to be throwing our line and bottles and stuff in the water. So when you're out in the water, Skeeter's got a built-in trash can in the floor to just throw all your spare line, cut off line, empty bottles, snack bags, all like that. Throw it in the trash can, throw it out when you get back to the boat ramp. Don't throw it in our waterways. Another design that I really like that Skeeter's come out with is these 90-degree tool holders. I've been in the older Skeeters, even the FX series last year. They were kind of 45, to where when you would step up to go up on the deck, your tools are laying like this, and you would kick them, trip, break stuff. You know, that's not very good. But what they've come out with, this 90-degree design, everything's flat, nothing's in the way. I really like that. They really did a good job on that, I believe. You've got real easy access to your ruler. It's just right there. You use it, slide it back in. You're not looking for it. You're not having to go back to another section of the boat. You don't have to lift up any lids or anything to get to your ruler. Like I said, you catch a fish, it's just right there where you need it to be. Just pull it out, use it, stick it right back in. Now we're back at the driver's seat area where all the controls are, the steering wheel is, the graphs, all that good stuff. First thing I notice when I sit back here is all the space I have in the cockpit area. You know, there's I've been in a bunch of boats where it's hard to get up and out, or get up and down out of, and that really bothers me. You know, it'll wear on you throughout the day in and day out of fishing, practice, tournament, you know. So the main thing I like about it, I mean, you just stand up and just walk up. Nothing really hard about that. Even with the two 12-inch graphs back here, it's not hard to get around. You know, I like that a lot. The seats is probably what I'm most impressed with the whole boat. They've got a completely new redesign from their old seats, new upholstery designs. I mean, they look sharp, they feel really good. Sitting in them, the stance in it just, the way they've made it, you just sit here, you're not comfortable, you're not leaned way back, you're not bent forward over the steering wheel, you're not all crunched up with your knees and your chest. So it's just a real comfortable seat for those long rides where, you know, you want to be comfortable. It's almost like sitting in a car, driving a car, basically. Now we're going to look at the main piece probably on the whole boat besides the engine and the trolling motor, and that's my graph setup. As you can see, I have a Solix 12 on the right, a Helix 12 on the left, and like I said, what I was going to tell y'all about of why I chose to run this is, more than likely I'm going to run all my mapping, my waypoints, trails, and all that on the Helix, and keep all of that on the Helix to be able to free this Solix up and not get it real cluttered with everything, to make it work and read as clear as it possibly can. Because the technology they have come out with these Solixes, when you can get their full potential out of them, it is just unreal what you can see and how in-depth and clarity it is when they're clear, when they're clean, and they're working to the best of their ability. Again, holding these two graphs back here is the Bass Boat Technologies mount. Again, you don't want your units getting beat up in rough water. Even down here in the south, we have rough lakes. We've got Lake Gunnersville, we've got Wheeler. You know, they can get rough 4 and 5, 6 foot waves. You don't want those graphs banging around. I mean, I can grab them, pull them. These graphs aren't moving anywhere. They're not getting hit by anything. They're sturdy, they're stable. There's stabilizers on the back side of these mounts that Bass Boat Technologies has come out with. A really good design. I'm really proud to be working with the people at Bass Boat, and I'm glad they're protecting my units. Moving on down to the panel, you know, that's where all your power is, your power button. One cool thing about what Skeeter's done with this panel is they actually have a dimmer switch, to where early mornings when you're putting in before blast off or real foggy conditions, you can dim the lights on this panel to keep it from glaring up at you and impairing your vision if you're having to drive somewhere in the dark or real foggy conditions. Moving straight on down to, they have the bilge, not your bilge, your plug in and out right here. You know, that's real convenient if you happen to forget to leave it out. You know, you back the boat in, realize you've left the plug out, just push it in, pull it in right there. It's really that simple. Live well open and close, nothing really special there. my Talon button, you know, you got the up, down, side, which one, if you want to do them singular, got it right here. It's real convenient. One thing I really like is the charging plug is back here. It's not at the back, getting water washed in it all the time. You can pull it out to give you a little bit of extra length. It's not screwed in there where it's wobbling and getting pulled out and getting shorted out and all of that. They've got a really good cord coming out, really good plug-in, sturdy. I really like that. I think that's going to keep from causing a lot of problems. Moving up a little bit, this is a new thing from Delta Volt, which I can actually see how charged my batteries are during the day and monitor them. And they actually have a phone app that you can download onto your smartphone to be able to, you can keep up with it that way too, to make sure if your batteries are all charged, and if you have one going bad, it can tell you which battery is actually going bad. The dry dock, which is the vents that run through the whole boat. If you're out in the rain and you put it back in the garage, it needs to dry out. The oxy match, which is just for the live wells, you know, putting oxygen in there. One really cool thing I like also is this boat cleat or tie cleat, whatever you want to call it, right here. Just right here, real convenient in the driver's seat, because a lot of the times we're by ourselves. And normally, I mean, if I pull up to a dock, I've got to loop the rope through the steering wheel onto the dock and then back through, and it causes the boat to bounce up against the dock, cause damage to the boat, or it's pulling on the steering wheel, and it's probably not really a good thing. So this new design that Skeeter's come out with the push cleat right here is real convenient, and I really like that. As you can see here, Skeeter has redesigned their cooler. I really like it because for those days when you have a third person in your boat and it's getting a little bit crowded, you know, they've made the top cushion, they made the back cushion. They've actually made this where it's really durable to step on, because, I mean, when there's people moving back and forth from the back of the boat, they have to have somewhere to step. You don't want them stepping in your seats. So they've got a good, durable platform to step on. It's got some edges on it, so it's not slippery if it gets wet. You know, you open it up, you've got your cooler right there. It's really good, accessible to get to, holds ice really well. But again, it acts as a third seat that's cushioned, back's cushions, bottom cushioned. It's wide, it's like a normal seat. The next thing I see new with the FXR than from the FX series and the Skeeter is the way the live wells open. You know, but they're opening back, where the majority of the time you're going to be bagging your fish in the bottom of the boat. So the way they had the live well lids before is they opened to the outside, which made it open towards the back of the boat in case of and that, for instance, I didn't really like that, because a lot of the times the fish when you open the lid of that live well, they see the light, and normally they're like trying to jump and get out. And with that being open towards the back of the boat, it made them easier and more accessible to be able to get back in the water. And I mean, how bad would it suck if you had already caught the fish and then you lose it once it gets out of the live well? So I like the way they've done that, because what I'll do when I'm bagging my fish is I'll open the side compartment where I've got them blocked there, I've got them blocked here. All I've got to do is get them in the bag to take them to weigh in. So I really like that. Moving on to the back compartments, you know, I think they're pretty standard. I don't think they changed those a whole lot. You know, you see you have the lights in the back compartments. These compartments aren't going to leak, because I mean, they have this big edge on it. If water does happen to get down in here, you know, it's going to take 1.5 to 2 inches of water to get over that lip to get into the box, and that's just not going to happen. I mean, there's no possible way. So really good design on the boxes. Moving to the very back of the boat, we have the battery compartments, and this is an awesome design by Skeeter. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the whole boat. We've got a compartment that is gunnel to gunnel. I mean, this is completely open. You've got your cranking battery on one side, your 3 trolling motor battery trays on the right side, or opposite, whichever way you're looking at it. It's accessible to all your pumps. Everything's just right here in front of you. The charger is right here, and what they've done is they've elevated the battery trays to where they're not very far. You don't have to reach all the way down in there, pull them out, hurt your back if you're having to swap out batteries and whatnot. I mean, it's just everything's right here in front of you. It's really self-explanatory how awesome it is. It's all open. If I'm having to work on my trolling motor batteries, I can close that compartment. I'm working right here, no problem. Got a pump we need to work on, a hose, everything is right here. It's so awesome. Vice versa, I need to work over here, close this one, open this one up. Got a real big opening area in there if I want to carry an extra battery, spare prop, all that. I mean, they've really outdone themselves on this back compartment. I like it because everything's just really accessible, and it's just right up there, and you're not doing a whole lot to hurt your back if you do have to work on anything. Another innovative thing Skeeter's done, which I really like, and I'm sure all the other guys that have to rig their boats are really happy about, is we've got this aluminum plating back here for all your hoses, all your wires and all that. Really durable. Not a whole lot of stuff's gonna get cut up, not get scratched up, but the main thing is this port right here, where the wires come in and come out, you know, it's really extended. It's a lot wider instead of the little small ones. And all the big wires and heavy gauge wires we're having to run for these electronics that we have nowadays, it's really nice to have a wider extended gap to get those wires through right there. Really good design by Skeeter, really thought out. I'm gonna be running 8-foot talons this year. You know, they have 10 foots, they have 12 foots. I even think they've come out with a 15-footer, but I don't see where I would benefit from none of that, so I just chose to stick with the 8-footers. You know, they're short, they don't stick above the cowling of my motor, real compact, they're light. Can't really beat it. They're not really hurting me on speed that bad to where if you get up into the 10 and 12 footers. Real sturdy bracket here, not a whole lot to go wrong. Just one wire running to and from the talon. Looking at the front of the talons, you know, it's got an indicator by how far they're coming down. Can't really beat that. You know, you're out there, you drop them down, you want to see how far they've gone down. If they're hitting bottom and whatnot, they have a rough water mode, a soft bottom mode. You can change the modes back here, or you can change it on your foot control or back at the console. I've got my trusty Bob's jack plate here at the back. I'm running a 10-inch black hydraulic action jack plate from Bob's. You know, I'm really pleased with Bob's. I've been running them a few years. They're fast, they're quiet. You don't have to do a lot of maintenance to them. Personally, it's the jack plate I want to run, and I'm happy that I'm partnered with those guys as well. That's completely all the way up in less than 7 seconds. On the back of my FXR20, I've got a 250 SHO Yamaha. I'm really excited to be running this motor. It's the first year me with Yamaha. Like I said, I'm really excited. 4-stroke. You know, you can't beat the dependability of them. They don't come apart. You never hear anything bad about them. So I'm glad I'm running them and have all the confidence in the world in the water. You know, another main thing you get with running a Skeeter is their attention to detail and the designs they come up with, which really look good to me. I like the way they look. Like, for instance, we've got the Skeeter logo here that is, I got black on black, which I'm really partial to. I think it looks really good. I think it really, really looks good on this boat. Just the color design I've got with the black logos, it makes it pop and it gives it a really good look. Moving up from the Skeeter logo, you know, I've got another blacked out FXR20 logo. It's really visible. You can see it really well. Eye-catching design, just again, the attention to detail that Skeeter gives. We've got the FXR logo on the trailer, the fender, which I think they have those on all the Skeeter's trailers, the FX series and all the way down. But what's neat about, what I like about it is at night when you're pulling the boat, this lights up a little bit so cars pass, you know, they can see that you've got a trailer right here. You know, you've got some drivers that don't really like to pay attention a whole lot. Again, we've got another Skeeter logo on the trailer, blacked out. All my logos are blacked out on this boat. Just makes it look really good, makes it look really sharp, matches the rims really well. Everything just kind of blends. It makes it really sharp, makes it good looking. The console has the FXR logo on it as well. I like the design. I think it's really similar to the FX. I don't think they really changed that a whole lot. The carbon fiber look here is really good. They've just, again, their attention to detail, the thought process they put behind everything is just second to none. We have the logos on the left and right side of the boat, Skeeter logos. These light up when you turn your courtesy light buttons on. It's not real bright, it's not like deck lights, but it's enough to light up the Skeeter and be able to see it. It gives it a really cool look in dark or low light conditions. They even got the FXR logo cut into the step up here on the trailer. Obviously, I've been getting out of it a lot. You can see my shoe prints, but it's still just a really cool feature that they've integrated into this boat. All right, guys, so that basically wraps up my boat tour of my FXR20 that I'm going to be running this year on the Bassmaster Elite Series. Thanks, you guys, for watching. If you have any questions, leave some comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.